Maya Angelou, it's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself to forgive. Forgive everybody. Robert Brummett, when we are able to forgive, it does not make us morally superior, but it will make us a much happier person. Forgiveness is always its own reward. So Kathleen will now be talking about exploring the true self. This is part 4.
Okay. Are you ready? I'm not ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go, part 4. For those of you who have been here, you know that I've been doing a series of talks based on a book called Living Originally by Robert Brummett. He was actually one of my teachers at Unity Village. I don't think he's teaching anymore. I think he's retired, but he's writing books and doing all sorts of things, right? And today's topic is unlimited forgiveness. So please note, this does not say conditional forgiveness. This does not say maybe forgiveness. This does not say forgiveness for everybody except who's in the White House. Unlimited. And I interpret that as unlimited, unconditional. That's just my personal take. Take it or leave it. This is a tricky subject. This is a tricky topic. It is not easy to forgive some of the stuff that is going on, especially in today's world. Okay? So this is not the first and only Sunday that I'm going to be talking about this. I have some plans for when I come back, but we're going to go back to this topic in a few weeks. So you're not going to want to miss when that happens. It'll probably start June 23rd again. We'll go back to it again. I really, really want you to start taking some of these ideas within and start looking at what is going on inside in your own hearts that need forgiveness. I'm sure it's never happened here, but you must know someone who's had a forgiveness issue, right? Maybe somebody who holds a grudge. How many times have we heard stories about, oh, you know, I didn't speak to so-and-so for 20 years and then they passed on and now I can't make it right. You know, we don't want to live that way. We don't want to take that chance. It's funny because I was watching a rerun of Golden Girls yesterday, day before. The days run into each other. Anyway, I was watching it at one point, and it was the one where Sophia's son, Phil, dies, and Sophia has a grudge against the wife, the daughter-in-law. And it turns out that she was mad because a $27 check bounced 32 years before. Her dowry check had bounced, right? And it was for, I think she said something like 20,000 lira or something like that, and everybody was all aghast until she said, yes, in dollars it means $27. But those things actually do happen. I know that we've all heard about those kinds of things. So the things that may seem petty to me may not seem petty to you, right? We all have our own perspectives about what's going on. But here's the thing. If we don't practice forgiveness, we are the ones that are bound in chains. We are the ones that struggle, and 9 times out of 10, the person that you're angry with doesn't even know how upset you are. Sometimes they do, but often they do not have a clue. And they're going about their life and everything's good and hunky-dory for them, and meanwhile this is eating me up or you up alive inside. And so I'm going to invite you all to think about what can we let go of or be dragged. Imagine those claw marks on the door, right? You cannot make me do this. No, I won't do it. But it really is for our own benefit. You liked the quote from Jerry Jampolsky, right? Giving up hope for a better past. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. Can we go back and change anything that has already happened?
No.
Everything is happening in the present moment. So as long as I hold on to this idea that it should have been different, right? As long as I hold on to that, then all bets are off. There's no hope for me. I'm not going to get better. I'm not going to heal. And healing means I come back to that awareness of I am whole, I am complete already. So here's another quote. I have no idea who said this one. I just heard it, and it's perfect. Holding resentments, holding anger towards someone is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die.
Yeah.
That's a very good analogy to me, right? Because it makes perfect sense. It does make sense that we're doing it to ourselves. Turning ourselves inside out. All right. In the daily word reading that I picked out, it had said, forgiveness allows me to make myself available to the divine. Isn't that what we're here for? Isn't that what we're thinking about, right? We want to make ourselves available to the divine. We want to be more aware of the fact that we already are divine. Yes, we forget that. Now, I am much better at remembering what mistakes I make on a daily basis. I am much better at remembering what I'm not good at. But I'm working on changing that. I invite you to do the same. Let's stop thinking that way. Let's start thinking about, no, we got this. We're good. I can do a pretty good job here. Right? All right, so the daily word affirmation was, I appreciate my innate capacity to forgive. You have the capacity to forgive. If you tell me that you don't, that's not really true. You do have it. But the daily word reading also said we have a choice. We have to actually make the decision, choose to forgive the person whatever they did. That's the hard part. They did me wrong. Take an example of two people in a relationship, and one abuses the other physically, mentally, emotionally, it doesn't really matter, but there is an abuse situation involved, yes? The person who is the victim, so to speak, and I'm using that term, loosely, but the person who is having this abuse directed at them, they would have a very good reason why they shouldn't forgive, right? The wrong is being done to them, especially if there's physical abuse involved, yes? But what happens is the person who is having this abuse inflicted upon them, they're also living in this chained up existence. So now when I say forgive does not mean to approve of bad behavior. Please don't mistake that. I'm not saying you have to approve of what someone is doing. You get yourself safe. I mean, that's the priority, right? But also you have to work on the forgiveness, to understand that something has happened to that other person that has brought them to a place where they feel they need to do this, and I don't need to stay there. But I also can hold them in my heart, understanding that there must be significant pain, significant challenges to cause them to act that way in the first place. This is a big if I believe what I'm saying every Sunday, there is only one presence, there is only one power, we are all love. I don't say we are all love except Joe Smith down the street, right? Or I don't say we are all love except that one group that lives in that other town, or that other state, or that other country.
Or under the bridge.
Or under the bridge. Any of those. There are no exceptions to this. If we believe that. If we don't believe that, then that's a different story. And that's where your consciousness is at the moment. Everything can change. So forgiveness is both self-related and other-related. For the first couple of talks I did on this book, we talked about radical self-awareness and deep self-acceptance. Those are both self-related. Now we're moving into an area where it is self-related and it's related to others as well. Okay? Because how many of us need to forgive ourselves? Just as much as we need to forgive other people. Right? We are usually our own worst critics. Kind of challenging. When I saw Maya Angelou's quote, the end says, "Forgive everybody," and I'm like, oh, really? Everybody? Have you met my neighbor? I have very nice neighbors now. I'm good with the neighbors. But I'm just saying, there's these thoughts that kind of run through our heads. Really, everybody? So this brings up the idea for me that when we're talking about these things, we're talking about putting them into practice for everybody, noticing when we're not in that frame of mind, noticing when we're not feeling very forgiving, and not berating ourselves about that. Okay? If you want to make progress in these practices, you've got to let go of the self-judgment. You've got to let go of the idea that, oh, I'm doing it wrong, I'll never be able to do it, I can't, oh no. Let it go. Practice. We talked about that too. Practice, practice, practice. Practice makes progress, right? Doesn't have to be perfection, but practice makes progress. I want to be a more forgiving person. I will share with you that one of my ex-husbands said to me, yes, one of my ex-husbands said to me that you forgive everybody. You see the good in everybody, but he made it sound like it was a bad thing. And I wasn't quite clear on that back then when he mentioned it to me, but it's kind of funny now. Because it's almost like I was trying to go out of my way to see the good in everybody, and this was before I found unity. Right? So I was actually trying to live these principles without understanding it, and so it kind of came out sideways, kind of came out a little skewed, but it was my way of starting the process. So forgiveness. There's something on my heart that I have to forgive. I resent somebody. I'm angry with them. They don't get it. They don't get me. They're not respecting me. They're not on it. Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. I need to start working on this. So here we go. According to Robert Brummett, this is what's in the book, The 7 Steps to Forgiveness. 1, see the need for forgiveness. Okay? 2, be willing to forgive. I'll go back to these in a minute. Ask for help from your higher power. Give up condemnation. Face and feel the underlying pain. Know the truth. 7's my favorite. Repeat steps 2 through 6 as often as necessary. Right? You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. There is a scripture in the Bible that talks about forgiveness. How many times do I forgive? 7 times? No, 77 times. Meaning as often as it takes until you get there. Right? So let's go back to the first one. See the need for forgiveness. Usually, that's one of the clearer items. Not always. But usually that's the clearest one. Somebody has done us wrong, and we know, how many times have you heard people say, I know I'm supposed to forgive them, I'm a Christian, right? Or whatever faith, I'm Catholic or whatever, or I'm just a good person and I'm supposed to forgive. But I see the need for forgiveness, but when you move into step 2, be willing to forgive, there's where you start to take notice. Am I really willing to forgive? What does it mean to forgive? So sometimes people will mistake forgiveness with approval, right? So we've already established it's not approving of someone's behavior just because I forgive them. You've heard stories in the papers and on the news of parents of children who have been murdered, and they forgive the person who took their child's life. I'll be honest with you, I don't understand that. But I've never been through it. So I don't know what their process is. And it's not mine to judge. It's simply this. It's simply that they are able to get there, and some very quickly, others not as quickly. But it amazes me most of the time that they can get there. Right? But there is a willingness in their hearts to even consider the possibility of forgiving such a wrongdoing. And then ask for help from a higher power, and that's the one I want to bring your attention to. Robert Brummett uses the term higher power. He does not use the term God, okay? But that is the term you could put in there. But there are some people that don't choose to use the term God. They choose to use universe, source, divine mind, spirit, whatever you want. You can put it in there. But that's why he did it in a general manner, because this process can work for everyone. And so he's saying whatever higher power you're looking at. People who work 12-step programs, and there are 212 of them. 212 12-step programs. It blows my mind. Anybody who's working a 12-step program, they usually refer to the phrase higher power so that anybody can join. You don't have to have a specific Protestant, Baptist, Catholic God. You can have whatever higher power. You just need to be willing to consider that there's a power greater than you that's kind of running this whole thing. As in creator, right? Source. We go a little deeper at unity. But whatever it is, that's why he uses the term higher power. We have to be willing to ask for the help. Sometimes we just don't do that. Sometimes we're like, yeah, no, because, yeah, I may not like the answer. Right? I used to have a dear friend of mine who was a mentor, and I was kind of like skeptical of reaching out to her from time to time. I was supposed to check in with her on a regular basis. And I was kind of skeptical because I kind of knew what she was going to tell me, and then she was going to make me do the right thing, and I really didn't want to do that. And sometimes that carries over into this idea of asking for help from our higher power, from God, because I might get exactly what I'm asking for. Right? And then what? As an aside, what if I really want some success and then I get it? Then what am I going to do? I don't know how to handle myself with success. What am I? Right? So be careful what you ask for, because you'll get it. The universe is listening. Give up condemnation. Now, I am not getting into, I'm going to get into these more the next time on the 23rd, but I'm just going to say this. Condemnation goes both ways, my friends. It is about condemning yourself and about condemning others. Justifiable anger is coming to mind. Right? There are times when we may feel that we are justified in our anger, and maybe we are. I don't know. Maybe somebody did a really, really bad thing and really, really betrayed us in some way. I've had a couple people in my life do that. Right? It's very easy for me to condemn them. It's very easy for me to say, well, if I told you what they did, then of course you would say, oh my goodness, Kathleen, how did you survive? That just creates a story that I don't want to create anymore. I don't want to be that person. Right? So it's not only about condemning the other person, it's about condemning myself. Like, oh, Kathleen, you were so wrong for condemning them. And it's just like a little vicious circle that we can get like caught up in a hamster wheel, right? And that little hamster runs and runs very fast, and he has nowhere to go. Right? He's just spinning in place. That's what we can do if we're not careful about that condemnation. I don't need to shift the blame to anybody else. I just need to process. I just need to get in touch with Spirit. And Spirit will guide me. Always. Always. Face and feel the underlying pain. So number 5 is that's what we're trying to avoid at all costs. Because if I focus on the other person, then I won't have to feel the pain. There's like a mental block in front of it. And I need to feel the pain if I'm going to move forward, realize my wholeness, and feel like myself again. I have to walk through. The only way through something is, the only way to get over something is to walk through it. Not try to go around it, not to try to go under it or over it. You have to walk through it. And here's my encouraging news for you. If ever you have to walk through any of this kind of stuff, we're all here for you. We are here to hold you in our hearts, to hold the high watch for you while you're maneuvering through it. You can reach out to any of us. Number 6 is know the truth. And notice that truth is capitalized. It's that absolute truth. I am a divine being having a human experience. You know? And so whoever I have come up against, who I have built up this resentment towards, whatever the case may be, they are a divine being having a human experience, and they made the wrong choice as far as I'm concerned. Right? But if they made the wrong choice, it's okay, because I am okay. There are things that have happened to me in my past that are a little difficult to talk about. And I'm not going to, it doesn't matter what the details are. They were tough things, but I will tell you this. Those things that were done to me, that appeared to be done to me, were not done to the person that you see in front of you today. I was not this person back then. And so when I heard that concept, I immediately started to heal. And I didn't hear that concept for about 35 years after it happened. So it took a long time to get there. But I'm telling you what, once that light bulb goes off, it's like it can't go off again, right? It goes on, rather, I should say, and then it can't go off because it's there. You recognize when you know the truth, you're not going to lose it. Do not be afraid that you're going to lose it. It just can't happen. It's always there. And then, of course, step number 7, just keep going through 2 through 6 until you get there. You may get to a point where, listen, I am tired of going back to step 2. I'm not doing this again. That's it. I know the truth. I'm good. I'm done. Right? It's a great process. And so what we're going to do is we'll revisit. I invite you now to close your eyes. If you feel comfortable doing so, you do not have to. And take a couple of deep breaths so you can relax into the present moment. Take another deep breath. May the words I speak now be the words of your own heart. I appreciate my innate capacity to forgive. I am free from the chains that bound me to the past. It is my choice to forgive. I make myself available to the divine. I forgive everybody, knowing my truth. Forgiveness is its own reward. And I am willing forward and practice forgiveness. I am attuned to the presence of God. I am attuned to the presence of God. I take these words now into the silence. I am attuned to the presence of God. This freedom is priceless. Today I have the courage to admit when I make a mistake. Today I am able to forgive myself and others. Knowing that I am available to Divine Spirit at all times. I am overwhelmed with gratitude for realizing how much forgiveness can do for me. And so it is. Amen. Now take a couple of deep breaths. Come back to this place and time. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes.